So today we are going to talk about the life of Nahor. So hello friends, today let's take a moment to explore the life of a quiet but key figure in the Bible, Nahor, the son of Serug and grandfather of Abraham. Nahor's name may not be front and center like Abraham or Moses, but his life holds powerful lessons about family legacy, influence, and the unseen hand of God working through generations. Let's break his life down bit by bit and see how his story speaks to us today. So 1. Nahor's birth and heritage. You can see this in Genesis 11 verse 22 to 25. Nahor was born into a very special bloodline, descended from Shem, the son of Noah, and part of the lineage that would lead to the great patriarch Abraham. His father was Serug, and his own son was Terah. He would become the father of Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. He lived 148 years, and during his lifetime, society was drifting further and further into idolatry. Nahor was born into a family chosen by God, but surrounded by a world losing its way. He lived in the land of Mesopotamia, a place of great cultural progress, but also spiritual decline. So modern lesson, maybe you have been born into a family with spiritual roots, but surrounded by culture that's walking away from God. Like Nahor, you are called to carry the light. Even in dark times, God placed people like you in history to preserve his purpose. 2. Nahor becomes a father and a legacy builder. Nahor became the father of Terah at the age of 29. Terah in turn became the father of Abraham, later Abraham, the man through whom God would build his covenant people. Nahor never saw the full glory of what was coming, but he faithfully passed on the generational torch. He helped shape values, the culture, the worldview that will eventually shape Abraham's faith journey. Even though the Bible doesn't record specific acts of righteousness or moments of worship, the spiritual heritage continued through his line. So modern lesson, not everyone is called to lead a nation, but all of us are called to shape the next generation. Maybe you are raising a child, mentoring a youth, or simply modeling faith at work. That quiet influence may be what launches the next Abraham into their purpose. You may be the reason someone else says yes to God. 3. Living in an age of idols. Joshua 24 verse 2. By the time of Terah, Nahor's son, scriptures tells us the family had begun to worship other gods. Joshua 24 verse 2 says, Terah served idols in Mesopotamia. This means Nahor lived in a time when the knowledge of the one true God was fading. His family may have been influenced by the pagan culture around them. Yet despite the drift, God didn't give up on that bloodline. Through Abraham, Nahor's grandson, God would reignite faith, call forth obedience, and reveal himself to the world. So modern lesson, maybe you are part of a family that's forgotten God. Maybe your siblings, parents, or even your children have drifted into secularism, materialism, or unbelief. Don't lose heart. God has not given up on your family. Just as he called Abraham from an idolatrous house, he can raise someone from your line to walk in power and purpose. 4. Nahor's role in the bigger picture. Though we don't see Nahor performing great acts of faith, we know this: he was a link to God's redemptive chain. He helped carry forward the lineage that would birth Abraham, then Isaac, then Jacob, then David, then eventually Jesus. His life reminds us that sometimes just being faithful where you are and raising the right children is enough to fulfill God's eternal plan. So, modern lesson: the world may never know your name, but heaven celebrates your obedience. Raising a child with godly values, living with integrity, and honoring God when no one is looking. These things matter. Like Nahor, you may be quietly building the foundation of a future revival. So, final word: what we learn from Nahor. So, what do we take from the life of Nahor? 1. God works through families, generation by generation. 2. We don't have to be famous to be faithful. 3. Your role in God's plan might seem small, but is eternally significant. 4. Even if family is spiritually broken, God can still call out greatness. 5. Legacy is built in the quiet moments, one faithful choice at a time. So in conclusion, be a Nahor in your generation. You may feel hidden, forgotten, overlooked, but like Nahor, your life matters more than you think. Whether you are a parent, a teacher, a bigger sister, a quiet mentor, or a praying grandmother, your influence is part of God's story. You might not be Abraham, but your faith could be the soil where the next Abraham grows. So keep the fire burning, keep working with God, and trust that your legacy is unfolding one step at a time. Thank you for joining this reflection on the life of Nahor. Keep living, loving, and living godly legacy. Your story matters more than you know. Amen.